It was winter when Ion stood at the gate of his childhood home. The wooden frame looked older than he remembered, and the paint had long peeled away, leaving behind cracks that told the story of years gone by. He had not stepped into this house for nearly a decade. His hands trembled as he carried a small leather bag and a folded letter, a letter he had read 100 times yet could never fully understand. It was written by his father, days before his death. As Ion pushed open the gate, the hinges groaned like old men complaining about the weight of time. The yard was quiet. The flowers his mother once cared for had withered into thorny stems. Dust clung to the windows, and silence pressed against the walls. It was no longer a home, it was a memory carved into stone. Ion paused at the doorstep, feeling the weight of guilt and regret tighten in his chest. He had left this place with anger, vowing never to return. But life has a strange way of pulling us back to the roots we try to cut. And so, with hesitant steps, he entered the house. The smell of old wood and fading spices clung to the air. On the mantel above the fireplace, the same family photographs greeted him, though faded with age. His eyes lingered on one photograph in particular. His father, standing tall, proud, and firm, beside his mother and younger sister, Zara. He could almost hear her laughter echoing in the empty hallway, the way she used to chase him around the house, calling him by. But Zara was gone now, just like their father. And all that remained were regrets too heavy to carry. He unfolded the letter again, staring at his father's words. "My son, if you ever read this, know that I was never against you. I may have been silent, but I always saw myself in you. Forgive me for the distance between us. A father's love is not always spoken, but it exists in every sacrifice, every sleepless night, every prayer whispered in silence." Tears stung Ion's eyes. He whispered, "Why didn't you say this when you were alive, Baba? Why only in a letter?" He sat in his old room, dust coating the shelves. Books he once loved lay untouched, and in the corner sat a small wooden box. Inside, he found relics of his youth, a broken watch, childhood photographs, and a poem he had once written but never finished. The weight of lost years pressed down on him. The silence was broken by a knock. At the door stood Uncle Rahim, their old neighbor, leaning on his cane. His eyes softened with recognition. "Ion, my boy, you came back," Rahim said. "Yes, uncle, I came back, too late." Rahim's sigh was heavy with sorrow. "Your father waited for you every evening by the window. He never stopped hoping you'd return." Ion felt his throat tighten. "And Zara," Rahim's eyes watered, "she prayed for you every night. Even in her illness, she never blamed you." Ion closed his eyes, the guilt pressing like a stone on his chest. That night, he wandered into the attic. Among boxes and dust, he discovered a trunk with his father's initials. Inside were notebooks, not ledgers or business accounts, but poems. His father had been writing all along, pouring feelings into verses Ion never knew existed. Lines of love, regret, and fear filled the pages. A father fears not the storms outside, but the silence inside his home. "Forgive me, my son, for building walls with my pride." Ion's tears fell freely. The man he had thought cold and distant had been drowning in love he didn't know how to express. Beneath the notebooks lay Zara's diary. His hands shook as he read her words. "Bye, please come back. Baba misses you, even if he doesn't say it. Mama prays for you. Don't let anger steal our years together. If you ever find this, know that I never hated you. Even if I leave this world before seeing you again, I love you always." The words pierced through him like knives. He had missed her last days. He had missed her laughter, her tears, her prayers for him. A small envelope slipped out from between the pages, addressed in his father's handwriting, for Ion. "My son, the arguments between us were not about your dreams. I only feared losing you, the same way I lost my brother years ago. My silence was never rejection, it was fear. Forgive me." Ion clutched the letter, sobbing into the emptiness. For the first time, he understood. His father's sternness had been love, poorly expressed but deeply felt. But at the bottom of the trunk lay something else, a legal document. As he read it, his breath caught. It revealed a truth hidden for decades. His father had once adopted a child, a boy who never returned home. That boy was Ion's uncle, the one his father had lost, the shadow that had haunted him all his life. Ion realized his father's silence had come from an old wound, the fear of history repeating itself. His father had not wanted to lose another son to the world. For hours, Ion sat in the attic, surrounded by letters, diaries, and memories, until dawn painted the sky. The next morning, he lit a candle by his father's photograph and placed the letters beside it. I understand now, Baba. I forgive you, and I hope you forgive me too. As the flame flickered, a strange calmness washed over him. For the first time in years, he felt his father's presence, not as silence, but as peace. From that day forward, Ion stayed in the house, restoring it, keeping it alive with the love it once held. He wrote in his father's notebooks, finishing the poems his father had left incomplete. Every evening, he sat by the window, not waiting in sorrow, but remembering with love. And sometimes, when the wind whispered through the trees, he could almost hear Zara's laughter again, echoing softly, reminding him that love never dies, it only transforms into memory.